back, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Get Talking. And today's guest is very, very special to me. She is from NIT Trichy. She got the Best Outgoing Student Award. She is Arjitha Parthasarathy. She's currently working at a McKinsey as a analyst. So thank you, Arjitha. Thank you for being there.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I've always wanted to be on a podcast, so this is a great opportunity for me also. And it's really great to hear that despite us having a huge gap in our school years, you still remembered me and you called me for this podcast. So thank you so much.
Thank you. So when you were at school, I literally saw you everywhere. You were with Sublakshmi ma'am for playing keyboard, and then you were playing badminton. You were in the school prefect council. You were there for annual day. You were there for sports day. You were even there for jam auditions for a middle school event. So you were literally all around the place. So how did you manage everything and you still managed to get into NIT Trichy, which is pretty big deal? How did you
Yeah.
do that?
So I think that it's just that I was really interested in all of those things genuinely. And whenever some opportunity came up, something new, I was always ready to try it out. That's how I ended up doing a lot of things. Maybe it was kind of like a kind of FOMO also. Like I didn't want to miss out on different things in school, but I always used to sign up for anything new that came, even if it's something that I have never done before. So I think that's something good that I did. And in terms of how I managed it and managed to get into NIT, I think that to be honest, like until 11th grade, I was kind of chilling in terms of preparing for JE and stuff. Like I used to make sure that I'm doing well in school, like in the exams and stuff, but I didn't really focus on my JE studies properly. And then I was busy doing all these other things, right? And then in 12th standard, I had this moment where I was like, oh shit, like we're nearing the end of school and like I have to actually give JE.
Yeah,
So now I need to start studying. So 12th standard was pretty hectic for me. Like I couldn't leave all the things that I started in terms of like badminton and music and prefect council, all that. And I really wanted to be a part of those things too. But at the same time, I had to manage my JE studies, right? So what I used to do was school was kind of like my fun time where I would do all these like hobby related things. And I used to come back and study like crazy. Like I used to study for at least like 5 hours every weekday, like after school for JE. And I still
very
had to like
nice.
finish my homework and stuff, right? So it was really difficult. And on the weekends I used to study for like at least 10 to 12 hours. So like it's kind of crazy looking back. I don't think I could do it now, but at that time I was just really motivated to like get into a good college. So I really had to put in the effort. But I'm glad I did it. Like I didn't lose out on either experience of like having a holistic school experience or getting into a good college. So I think it worked out well for me, but I would say it's not for everyone. Like I wouldn't recommend this. You should start studying earlier, not in 12th grade. Yeah.
You were there for that jam thing, auditions. You were there as a judge. I don't know if you remember it. That was a middle school event.
Mhm.
And I still remember people giving an introduction about you. Someone gave an introduction. Arjita Parthasarathy is one of the best jammers in the city. She is the best public speaker out there. So tell me, yeah, and it was obviously speaking. You were very confident out there, and you were speaking. You're doing a great job. You know, a lot of people were there in your batch who were really good public speakers, but still, you stood apart. And I still remember you giving them constructive feedbacks, and you're very confident there. So this public speaking thing, when did you pick this up?
I actually don't even remember this event that you're talking about, but yeah, it's good to know that like I left an impression on you through that. But I actually started Jam because of our school. We used to have these inter-house events, right? And when I came to sixth grade, there was this inter-house event for Jam. And until sixth grade, I think that Jam mostly we used to just, they'll give you a topic like Independence Day or something, and you have to speak about it for a minute. That was what I had seen at least until sixth grade. But like I said, like I used to sign up for everything that came up, like without even thinking about what it actually is. And especially in sixth grade, I think I was in that peak phase of like trying to figure out what I'm good at. I even signed up for flower decoration and all. And like, I'm so far away from drawing and arts and stuff, but I used to give my name for everything. So for Jam, I signed up, and then they selected me like through the house. It's pretty easy to get in through inter-house stuff, right? So I went on to the stage, and that is when I was told what happens like in a jam. Like you sit in that panel, and then like it's not like you come and speak on one topic. You need to like keep moving around the mic and stuff. So I literally figured it out there, but like I came first in that jam itself. So like I was like, oh damn, nice. Like this is something that I'm good at, and I really enjoyed doing it. Like while I was on stage, I found it so fun to be like looking out for other people's mistakes and what they're speaking, and like when you're speaking also you need to be very like grammatically correct, and like your sentences have to be good, stuff like that, right? I think it came naturally to me, which also like I got lucky there, but I found myself really enjoying myself on stage, and I was like, this is not like a typical boring like you come and give a speech kind of event, and I was like very intrigued by it. And eventually, I think that that passion for it kind of kept me going. Like every year, I used to participate in the inter-house and stuff. And when we came to ninth or 10th grade, like they start sending you for culturals, right? Not ninth, I think like 10th or 11th grade. Yeah. So when I was in 10th grade, I went and asked the teacher, like they put me in something else, but I was like, I wanted to jam because like I've won the inter-house and stuff before. I think that was very brave of me. Like I don't know if I would do it right now, but the teacher also put me in jam after that, so like it worked out well. And I think that's a good life lesson. Like you should ask for what you want.
Yeah,
But yeah,
exactly. That's true.
yeah. But yeah, I think I was just confident of my jam skills because I had won all the inter-house jams until then. So I was also in a position where I was able to like put myself out there more and be like, I want more exposure. So then once I went to these inter-school culturals, that's when I got to know that there's a whole like jam is kind of like a big deal. There's like a whole group which does it, and it's been a thing for many years and stuff. I got really lucky that in this first or second jam that I went, I came second, and one of the main people in that like network of jam, they noticed that I was good, and like they added me to a group and stuff where people would kind of keep you updated on what events are going on. So I got lucky in that way, and after that every jam I went to, like those same kind of people were there, and I also got to improve my skills like doing it continuously. Like I used to go to every culturals that our school used to send us to, and after a point even the teachers were like, okay, like we need to send her because she'll like win a prize for us for the school. And yeah, I think I just firstly was very passionate about it, and secondly, I got a lot of exposure and I was able to practice it a lot. And I also tried to bring in like a jam culture in our school and stuff, and I think that's why I was
Yeah,
judging the
yeah.
events for the
Mhm.
lower schools.
Yeah.
And in fact, me and one of the teachers, we are trying to like set up a jam club for the school right now. So I might like
Wow.
be going and like teaching kids how to do it and what it is and all that stuff also. And even now, like anyway, so I went to college and I still did continue to this, and I won a couple of titles in college and stuff. And I think at the end of it, I was like very kind of emotional because like it's been such a long journey of like 10 plus years, and it's coming to an end now because usually after college there isn't much scope to jam again, right? But I changed that also. Like I was like, why can't we just do this as a fun thing outside of school and college also? So I got together with a few people from that, like people that I've been jamming with since school or college, and we started this like not started, we reignited this jam association of Madras, and now like we come together like every month once or twice, and we all just like jam together in the evening. So I have like found a way to keep that like still going even after its supposed expiry date, I guess. So that's been really good, and I have been enjoying my jam journey. And yeah,
Club. I think I remember somewhere 2 years or I don't know when last year. I don't know which year, but school called you back again as as a chief guest for sports day,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So that was a pretty big deal. So this badminton thing helped you there. So you were the sports captain back in
Yeah.
12th grade. So tell me a little bit more about your badminton journey and coming back as chief guest to our school's sports day.
Yeah, so I used to be really interested in sports ever since I was a kid. Like, I think even since first grade, I used to try to participate in sports day, but like I would never get selected because I was not good at running and stuff when I was a kid. But I started going for badminton coaching in fourth grade, and I started playing in like small tournaments and stuff like at that time. So that is when I joined the school team, like around fifth or sixth grade. And We used to go for inter-school tournaments, and like in inter-house we used to play and stuff. And yeah, I think eventually I was the captain of the badminton team in 11th and 12th grade, I think. And that, along with, I was also in the volleyball team and I was in the throwball team. And I also used to participate in all these like inter-house coco and I mean, honestly, they used to need people in every sport, so I used to just be like, okay, fine, I will do it. So I picked up a lot of sports that way, and I also used to participate in what is that, sports day. Yeah, so like I told you, I was bad at running as a kid, right? And
Yeah.
I figured out that I am better at long distance running. Like I can't do 100 200 meter sprint, but I was like I was okay at like 800 400 meter and stuff. So I started like going for those, and I used to like win a couple of prizes here and there. So I think eventually, yeah, they made me the sports secretary because my presence was felt across the sports of DAV. So that is how that happened. And that was a really good experience. Like I got to help host the sports day in my 12th grade. And, you do the march past and you're standing in the front of the
Yeah.
entire school in 12th grade. So all that was very cool. My house also won. I was in Shivaji House.
And
I
it
was
won the
also,
best thing for, yeah,
yeah,
March
yeah,
Past.
we
I
march past,
remember, I
yeah.
remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we did. So that was like a very fun memory. One of my friends was also the Shivaji House captain, and I had been Shivaji House like vice captain and captain when I was in eighth and ninth grade. So like I also had a lot of like house like patriotism or whatever. So it was a nice moment. Like we all won and we took the cup and we ran around the entire ground for no reason, and like everyone was looking at us like we were weirdos. But it was a very fun memory. It was great coming back for Sports Day. Like, I didn't expect to be called back as chief guest because when I was young, they only used to call like really old people to be the chief guest in these events, right? So I think it was a new thing that our school started of calling alumni back to do this, and it was great. It was kind of like a nerve-wracking moment for me because, like, I had to like be all inspiring and give a speech and stuff. But yeah, it was good. Nice experience to come back and be the person on the dais when the rest of the people are doing the march past. That was like a nice like life full circle
So
back kind of
again,
moment. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I get that. So yeah, now that another favorite passion of yours, I've seen you in the, because my class was next to the music room. So I see you always with Sublakshmi ma'am. You're playing the keyboard, I believe. So do you sing as
Mhm.
well?
No,
So
I don't. I mean, I sing. I don't sing very well, but I used to play the keyboard, yeah, when I was in school, and that was also something that actually, looking back, like I am just reflecting while we're doing this podcast, but even playing keyboard was something that I just like randomly signed up for in some instrumental solo competition or something. And at that point, I wasn't even very good. I didn't even have a big keyboard. Like I had those like small Casio, like the basic one without the beats
uh,
and stuff. And I just randomly gave my name for this in fifth grade, and I learned some like random, very basic song like some Geetam or something, and I played it in the prelims, and then I got selected, and I was like, oh wow, great. So after that, I went to the finals, and I mean, my parents were very cute. They bought me like a bigger keyboard and stuff because they were like, wow, she's
wow.
taking initiative and like signing up for random things, and she got into the finals and all. So that was like nice of them. But they got me a bigger keyboard, and I played in that and I came second, I think. So, like, I
Wow.
practiced a lot. I used to practice every day after school because I
So
was like, oh my
did
God.
you go for that Trinity thing, or was it just like Carnatic keyboard? Like which
Mm,
Western?
So actually did not. I learned keyboard for like a year or something. Western I learned, and I learned Carnatic also for a year or something when I was in third, fourth grade. But like after that, honestly, I just used to like I was able to listen to a song and play it on the keyboard eventually, like by myself without
Wow.
taking. I didn't need to have notes. So I was able to play by ear, which was like really helpful for all our school stuff because a lot of times it's random songs that like you won't get the notes anywhere, right? So I think that really helped me to be like the first choice for playing the keyboard in school events. And because I was able to do that, I think so Lakshmi mom also liked me. And then like I just used to volunteer for like every school music thing. And in fact, one of the like really nice moments from my school days was I used to play the keyboard in not annual day, what is that? Assembly, right? Like you play that
Oh yeah, you play
school
that for
song.
the Janaganamana. Yeah,
Yeah, correct,
that
correct.
thing closing. Yeah,
The opening song also, like the school
yeah, the
song.
opening song,
So
super song.
yeah, I had been playing that in the assembly for so many years. Like I think from maybe sixth grade till 12th grade, I've been playing it, right? Whenever my class does the assembly or whenever the music group does the song, something like that. So
Hmm.
in the last assembly that we do in 12th grade, I got to like play the song for one last time while everyone was singing the school
Wow.
like prayer song. And like I was just like very like, oh my God, this is the last time I'm going to play it. So that memory is like very fresh in my mind, but I'm glad I got to do it. Like it was another like good closure to my school days. But yeah, I did not like professionally train too much. It was more of like something I enjoyed doing, and I also got the opportunity to do it a lot. So that was fun. We went for so many like inter-school competitions, and there were so many Arya Samaj like internal school events that used to happen, and the inter-house and all that. So yeah, it was just something that I enjoyed and I was doing during school. But I actually didn't continue it in college. Like I didn't have the time to also like do music. And there are so many people who are like professionally trained and they've done the like Trinity stuff and
Yeah,
all that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like it's not something I continued, but I am glad that I had fun with it during my school days.
So did you like learn Carnatic music when you were a child? Because to impress Suvalakshmi mom, you can't do it without Carnatic music.
I
I'm
mean,
brutally honest.
like I think I was one of those kids who was put into music class in like first grade by parents, but I didn't continue. I went for like a year or two, but I knew the basics like sarigama and all that. Yeah,
Yeah. So something musical talent and that thing, that inclination, something that was there inside of you. Like
I guess.
probably you didn't tap into it. Probably school helped you
Yeah,
find that.
true. It was nice.
Because when you were telling me that you could, hear a song and then play it on the keyboard without the notes, that's something pretty difficult to achieve. Because I went to learn guitar and then I went for a year or so, but still I couldn't achieve the thing. That is the highest, thing. When you stop learning the notes, then you
Hmm.
stop. You ultimately you need to like hear that thing, and that's something which is quite amazing. Hearing a new tune and playing it on the keyboard or any
Hmm.
instrument, that's the ultimate reason behind learning an instrument. That's what my
Hmm.
teacher told me.
Hear a song and try to play it yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that, is there something else you can do? That's all I've seen you in school apart from this your leadership role.
No,
Leadership role.
good question. Yeah, I mean, I think these were broadly the areas that I did well in school. I guess I used to study well. But apart from that, I think these were the three main things that I did. Yeah.
But yeah, being I'm talking about the prefect council. How was it? How was
Hmm.
it like being a part of that? I think 8, 9. Were you there in 10th standard as well?
I was there in 8th, ninth, and 12th. Yeah.
So 3 years. That's a big deal. So how was it
It was
being there?
good. I think that I enjoyed in the house captain part of it. I enjoyed like organizing people into different activities and keeping auditions and choosing the best people. That was kind of fun. And I told I was very like patriotic for my house also. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I enjoyed like bringing people together and making them practice for these dance events and music events and all that. And I think being sports secretary in 12th grade, it's nice being a prefect in 12th grade because like everybody is younger than you, so they all naturally respect you. So that was kind of fun. And like I said, it was great doing the sports day as the sports secretary, like being the first person to do the marching. And I was also responsible for making all the houses do the marching properly. And yeah, like I had a lot of fun. Apart from that, I think we were mainly checking nails and all that stuff. But it was good being one of the people who was like given the responsibility of handling a lot of things. So I think like
Yeah.
it was something early on. Like in school, you're pretty young still, right? So I think that that was a good position of responsibility, which helped me to.
So I remember you being there for that. After Havan, you have to check whether the kids have got their Agnihotras and whether you're wearing nail polish on and things like that. And you used to make them run around the ground. That was a punishment.
I don't think I used to make them run around the ground, but sure, like I mean, the PT teachers used to do that, but yeah, like I would say I was pretty lenient compared to like other prefects. Like I would let you like go if you had like a little nails and stuff. So I did my best to be like a friendly prefect, not misuse power. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that school's over and then you went to college, so let's reflect back. Let's go there. Can you tell me how was your time in college? You were the cultural secretary there, again being a part of the prefect council, and then you got the best outgoing student award. You were a part of a lot of things in college. So let's talk about your prefect council. I mean, your prefect being a prefect there in college.
Yeah, sure. So I think it's a little different in college. It's not exactly like a prefect council, and so the student council was like a lot more responsibility in terms of that you're expected to do a lot more things independently. And I think in school it was more that like teachers told you what to do and you kind of implemented it. But in college, you had to really do like everything ground up, and you needed to make the administration like support the students. Like you had to talk to them and convince them to agree to doing some things, because their natural inclination is kind of to be like, this doesn't work with our like budget, it doesn't work with our idea for the college and stuff. So that was something very new that I got to learn how to like handle people like this, and how to speak to different kinds of people and get like what you need to be done from them. And it was an interesting role. So we actually did not have a proper cultural secretary set up until my batch. And me and my friend who became the culsex that year, we wanted to make it a more formal, like established, and we had to kind of establish the role itself. So that was something new and interesting. And I got to work with two sides of people, like the students who are the heads of the clubs of different cultural clubs. And they are always like complaining, and they're like, why are you not doing this? We need this for our club, you need to get it done for us. And on the other hand, you have like the college administration who give like no shits about what is happening at these cultural clubs, right? So we really need to like run around and go and push these people and be like, we need to do this now, 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 now. And eventually it'll get done like 8 months later, but eventually it gets done somehow. So that itself is a big achievement. And it was very interesting. I think I learned that you can't make everybody happy, and you need to just try your best. And after that, you can't really control what happens. I also got to conduct like a big event. We did like one big cultural event for the entire college. And I had to do that event like from scratch, like from ideation, from like what are the different things that you need, until getting a team together and implementing that event to like 1,000 people, right? Who are going to attend the event. So that was a very interesting experience where I learned how to like do event management end to end fully. So that was also really good. But yeah, like student council in college was very different from a prefect council in school. So I'm glad I did that. So everything in college, like in my college, this was something very special. I feel all these clubs and like these positions of responsibility were such a big deal. Like when you're in college, it feels like it's like the end of the world a little bit. Like how they do it is, even to get into a club, there is like a very long induction process where the seniors like they take interviews, they give you tasks, and like they teach you what you will be doing in the club once you come in. And you need to like 3 weeks ish at least, and they conduct like multiple interviews and group discussions and all this stuff, as if it's like a real job. And then that's how you get into these clubs. And once you get into a club, in your final year you have the opportunity to stand for being the head of that club. So again, there is like this huge process where the previous heads take interviews of you, and they give you like all these different situations and how will you handle this. They ask you to like make a work plan for the entire year, and how will you like implement this for the club and stuff. So this is all of this is like so competitive. Like every club, so many people sign up for it, and every year for the heads, like literally everybody in the batch signs up for it. And it's a very interesting process, and I feel like I learned a lot, both taking these interviews and also giving these interviews. Like at a club level, when you do it at an interview level, it's like not as scary because you've done it so many times. And like I was someone who was very, I love giving interviews and talking about myself, so like I found it to be fun, trying out for all these clubs. But yeah, that's how I got selected. For any club that I was in, or any position of responsibility I was in, I was selected by the previous heads or seniors by interview.
That is really nice by interview, something which is very different from what happened at school. I remember, I mean, when you nowadays we have elections and things like that, but back then it used to be like the smartest kid who used to be academically very good and probably who had a little bit of extracurriculars or something was picked there. But in college, it's completely different, right? For example, for the culture structure, you need to be like really good at what you're doing. Not just nobody really cares about your academics or something like that in college.
True, true. In fact, I am glad that schools are doing elections these days. I think one of our school was one of the only ones that didn't do elections when I was there itself. But it's good. Like, I mean, your academics do not really matter if you're good at the thing that you do, is what I feel. So it shouldn't be that the sports secretary, for example, is someone who studies well but also does a bit of sports. Like, it should be the person who is the best at sports, right? So I think it's good that it's elections these days. And yeah, like in college, honestly, most people don't study, and most people don't like they don't care about how well you study and stuff. And the professors, they're like very disconnected from all these club activities, and like they don't care about those things basically. They only care about like your particular class. Like it's not even like all the other classes. So I feel like it's good in that way. Like at least my college was a very like student run organization. Like everything that we used to do was completely student run. The clubs and the fests and everything. You only have one professor who is just like a sign off kind of person. But because everything is so like by the students for the students, like it's really it's an environment where you can learn a lot through these experiences. And again, because there isn't that kind of pressure on you to perform academically and only then you can do these things. I think that's also really good, because you get to do what you like basically. There were a lot of people who didn't care about their academics at all, but they used to do well in these clubs and stuff. And eventually, when you're trying to get a job, the things that you learn in these clubs play a big role compared to what you learn in class. Because at least for us, we all learned different types of engineering, but eventually everybody is trying for like tech jobs or management jobs or data science jobs, something like that, right? So it's very unrelated to what you're learning in class, but the soft skills that you learn from these clubs and teams, I think that is what really makes you stand out in these environments.
Yeah. So when I was looking at your LinkedIn profile, one thing which stood out for me was 180-degree consultancy, which is probably a club from NIT Trichy, right? So you are a senior consultant there. So yeah. So tell me about that.
Yeah, sure. So I think this is a good example of how I learned a lot of things through these clubs in college, right? I had no idea what consulting is, as most people do. Like once they finish school and you come to college, especially in a tech college, you think that, okay, I'm going to become like a software developer or something, or maybe I'll do my core engineering branch. But I had no idea that consulting was even a job. And I knew that an MBA is something that people do, but I didn't know what that was also. And I think I was in my second year, and at that time, that is when you're trying to figure out like what you want to do for a career, right? Because we have our like internship selection in third year, and in final year we have placements. So in second year you're kind of expected to figure out what you want to do forever. That is like the kind of build up, I would say, that people give, like, oh my god, you need to figure out what you want to do by second year, otherwise like the world ends. Not true, but that's what I was under the impression, that I need to figure things out. So I was just like looking at what are the different options that I can explore, and that's when this club in my college started becoming like a bit more popular. It was a very recent club that was started. I knew a couple of seniors and my batchmates who were in that club, and I was just like, okay, let me see what this is. So that is when I learned what consulting is. Obviously, I didn't have a very good idea about it, but this club opened up their selection process, like I said, and they basically put us into different groups and they explained to us what we need to do. So they gave us these mock consulting projects, and it was over like a 1 month timeline, and we had to figure out what to do for that consulting project. And every week we would have check-ins with the heads of that club. So in the course of that project, that's when I discovered like what consulting is actually. And obviously it was a small pilot version of consulting, I would say, but I found that I was like really enjoying what I was doing in that mock project time, because I always was under the impression, I think maybe this is also because our school was like that, but like your science and math and all that, those are like your main subjects where you need to like be doing really well, and that is what is going to like be your career. That was the impression I was under. And I was like shocked to see that there is this thing where there's no science, there's no math, it's just like your qualitative problem solving and soft skills and communication and things like that which are tested. So these are things that I felt were coming naturally to me. So I was very interested in this. It felt like not like a very draining job kind of thing, because your science and math and even engineering, for me, like it was stuff where I really needed to like learn a lot of theory and understand how to apply that, and it's based on a lot of like pre-built knowledge, right? But this was a lot more like any topic you're given, you just come together and figure out like how does this work based on first principles. So I found that problem solving to be very interesting, and I liked how the team like works together to solve one problem and then you present it at the end of it and all that. So that was something that I really liked. So I eventually got into that club after doing this whole induction process. I got selected, and through that club we used to basically do consulting projects, like a small scale consulting projects for startups and NGOs. And these would be like maybe just like a small part of like their bigger thing, because we're students, obviously they don't want to give us like something very crucial to them. But it was a very I got like a taste for consulting through this club, and I was like, okay, maybe this is something that I want to do for my first job. And that's how I eventually decided to sit for the management and data science companies rather than the tech and core engineering when my placements time came. So yeah, I think it was a crucial thing which helped me to decide like the which way my career wants to go, initially at least. Yeah.
That's really nice. So probably maybe that ignited your passion for consulting, and right now you're at McKinsey. But if somebody wants to break into consulting, what would your advice be for them?
So I think that it's a bit difficult to get into consulting from your undergrad, because these kind of companies go only to a few colleges. In fact, even McKinsey and I think Bain, BCG, they go for their consultant roles only to IIT Madras and Bombay or something like that. So it might be difficult for anyone to get into consulting from undergrad itself. Um, but most people do an MBA and then they go into consulting. That's like the traditional way to do it. I think that if you're really passionate about getting into consulting from your college itself, one thing that people used to do is join these kind of clubs in college and try to get some exposure to what this really means at your undergrad level. I think I was lucky in that my college had this chapter of 180DC itself. So I don't know if I would have even known this exists otherwise, but I do think that there are other consulting clubs which are not at a college level, like a city level or something. In fact, 180DC itself is like a global organization which has chapters in different places. So I think that they also might have chapters somewhere else. But yeah, you basically figure out what consulting is, and you try to like learn these guesstimates and case study solving on your own. I think that is something you can do. And one thing that worked for one of my seniors, like this at that time, that these companies used to not come to our college, and he used to be the head of like the club that I was in. So what he did was he reached out to a lot of people on LinkedIn and used to network with them, saying that we're doing this club in college, and like I'm the head of this club. These are all the projects we've done. This is my portfolio, kind of. And those people became like the mentors of that club, and he had a really good relationship with them. So eventually, he was able to get into Bain, I think, through this network. Like they gave him a referral, and then like you give interviews and stuff, and then you like can get selected. So I think that is a good way to go about it if you're like really passionate about it. You've already tried this, and you think it's something you like, you're good at. Then I think reaching out on LinkedIn and applying for jobs. I think there are also a lot of startups now which take undergrad people. I know that there is Red Seer Consulting or something in Bangalore, which is like a company which takes undergrads, because some people I know used to join there. And you can find companies like this on LinkedIn. And it doesn't have to be like a McKinsey or Bain, BCG. It can be any like company which is giving you that exposure that you want. So going to startups is another good option through LinkedIn. You can like find these kind of companies which are ready to hire you, and that'll be a good learning experience eventually if you want to shift into a different company, or you want to do your MBA. This is like a good platform for you to build your resume. Yeah.
A lot of people here, I mean, there is a recession which is prevailing, which is pretty bad. Like I know a few people who've gone abroad, gone to the US, gone to the UK, but they're jobless, they're drowning in student debt and all that. The thing is, the global recession has hit a lot of places very badly, like UK, US, Australia, and all the places, Canada and all. But it's not come to India. It's not hit India that badly, from what I've seen. Like, the new grads are still getting a job, like getting jobs, getting good paying jobs, high paying roles and all that. It's still common everywhere, to get that. Previously I had a guy who's from IIT Bombay. He got into a quant company. So like, it's still there in India. The thing is, the job market is pretty good, but it's not, I mean, it's better than going there and being there in student debt or working for a low paying job. Other than that, you can like be here in India, be in your comfort zone. I think being in India is one of your comfort zone as well. You give me those vibes. It's very comfortable, right, to be with your parents and all that.
Opportunity there is not what it used to be. That it's also a big gamble. You spend so much and you go abroad to a university, and then you just don't get a job. Like that is the situation right now. So I think that a lot of people are more that they're scared to go right now. I don't think it's a good idea also, because the job market is bad there. There are visa issues. Even if you do get a job there, I feel is no, the peace of mind isn't the same like what it used to be. Like you can't just go there, get a job, get a green card, and be there forever. So the story has changed a lot, and I think that's why people are more hesitant to go abroad for their masters. I think that MBA in India is still like a pretty good scene right now. Every year, a lot of people do write CAT, and they try to get into IIMs and ISB and XLRI and all that. So I don't know if people are against masters itself. It's rather that masters abroad isn't what it used to be, and an MBA is only for people who want to get into management, right? But I think earlier there used to be a lot of people who used to go for an MS in computer science, and then they settle there and get a great job, get like some six-figure salary or something. But like that is just like not happening now. So I feel that seeing that people who went before them are not getting jobs, like a lot of people from my batch, I think at that time this was not the case, right? Like going abroad was still seen as one of the best options that you can go for. And a lot of people went abroad in my batch in 2023. They graduated and they went abroad, but most of them really struggled to get jobs, or they couldn't get jobs. And in my senior batches, there are people who had to come back to India because they couldn't get jobs. So looking at this situation and how bad it's been for the people before them, I think people should hesitate. Like, it's correct, you should hesitate before going abroad. Um, if like you're saying people, oh sorry, if like you're saying people want to be in India and make in India and stuff, I think that is great. Usually when I say this, people will like cringe and say, okay, good luck with that. It's not going to happen. But it's good if you're saying that people are in that mindset and that is why they don't want to go abroad.
Yeah, so you're like, you're not planning to move abroad anytime soon.
I mean, I didn't want to. Like, I was a little disappointed that I got placed in Chennai because most of my friends get placed in Bangalore and Hyderabad and stuff. And I also lived in hostel for 4 years. So, like, coming back home again was not like my first choice. But, like, there are perks to this also. Like, it's great living with family and you get to be with your parents every day. All that is really nice. But yeah, like, I think it is important to live alone and like be independent and those things also, and hopefully I will eventually, like, in a year or two, I hope to like move out and stuff. But yeah, like being rather than being in my comfort zone being the reason for staying in India, I think I have this feeling that I should make India great. I don't know like how I'm gonna do it, but that's just like one of my personal aspirations, like in some way to do something for India and like make it a more developed country or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think for in terms of job market, India is not as bad as the other countries. And also the thing is that in those other countries you are an immigrant, but here you are a citizen. So obviously you will have like first preference for getting a job. And I think that we have this placement system in our country which is very helpful. Like in the other countries, you have to go there and you apply randomly through LinkedIn and through like job postings and stuff. But here, like your college really tries hard to make sure that you get placed somewhere, regardless of your performance. So I think that is a very helpful system that we have here, which helps people to get placed. But from what I know, people who are trying to move from a current job to a different job, they are still like finding it difficult to get jumping opportunities because the job market is bad in India. Also, it's just not as bad for us as compared to other countries. I never plan to move abroad actually. So yeah, I think my plan is still to be in India.
So you're saying about making it in India and doing well in India. But do you think, these days I was talking about this consulting thing and you are a consultant now. Do you think India in any given day, a lot of startups are coming, you're talking about startups and all. Do you think India at any given day can produce a company which is as good as BCG, is as good as Bain, is as good as those companies, McKinsey? Do you think is it possible for India to achieve that?
I mean, why not? Like, India is the leader in some industries like IT services, and I don't see why that could not happen for consulting. But I'm sure it'll take some time. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. But I think if we can have a TCS and an Infosys, why can't we have a McKinsey or Bain equivalent in consulting? Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So these are the few things you spoke about consulting and your passion and all that. But apart from that, Arjita, what I wanted to know was, do you have any plans of starting a startup company, starting your own consultancy firm? Because what your passions align, everything aligns perfectly. It's like a perfect alignment. If you start a company, you can be the next founder of next mechanism.
Sure. I could be the next founder of the big Indian consulting company. Yeah, yeah.
Because it aligns perfectly. When you spoke about your passion and then you spoke about consultancy and all that, it aligns perfectly. So why not? Do you have such plans?
Maybe let's see where I am in 10 years. Who knows? Maybe I might have started this company, but as of now, I have resigned myself to being a corporate slave for the next few years at least. So no plans to start a startup. But if I do, I'll let you know.
But you got into this firm. in NIT Trichy, it's very popular to get a tech job, right? So what you are doing is completely different from what you studied. You studied instrumentation and control engineering, and now the job you're doing has got nothing to do with what you've studied, right? They have no like connection. So why is that? Why do you make this choice consciously or something? You didn't want to do that thing, whatever you studied. Was this a conscious choice or something that came along your way?
No, like I said, it was a conscious choice. I tried consulting through these clubs and stuff, and I really liked the concept of not doing something which is based on science or math. And it seemed like something more soft skills and critical thinking based, which I really liked. So it was a conscious choice to sit only for these companies. I didn't sit for any tech roles that came to my college. So I got lucky in that like McKinsey was the first management company to come to my college, and I got in. But if I hadn't, I don't know what I would have done. But yeah, it was a conscious choice to try for McKinsey and these kind of companies.
But did you apply somewhere else, like for a tech job, a proper tech job, something? That's something you figured out in your second year, probably.
Yeah, in my second, third year, I figured it out. So, like, I would encourage everyone to, like I said, try out these new things and sign up for these clubs and stuff because you might find something that you never even knew existed, but you are pretty passionate about.
The thing is, you were talking about all these things, figuring things out. But if somebody is starting out their college, if they are a fresher, what your advice would be for them? They're going to college this year, starting out new. What your
Right. So I think that academics is important, and you should try to listen in your classes and see if you like the subject that you've signed up for because you are paying for it, firstly. And I think that is a really good option, right? Because I can speak for engineering, but a lot of engineering fields have a lot of scope. I think we spoke about masters and how it's been pretty bad abroad, but even then, I know that fields like electronics and electrical, they are still pretty good for masters. It's just that computer science and the typical computer science, data science, those are like a bit bad on the job market. Most of the people I know who went for masters for ECE or Triple E, they were able to get jobs, like really good jobs. So I think it's firstly important that you try to focus on your course that you've signed up for and see if you like it. And core engineering is still a good option to go into, or even core whatever, whichever college you go into and whatever course you're doing. Uh, on the side, I think it's also important to do these extracurriculars because, like I said, I think everybody gets trained on the technical knowledge part before placements. So you will know like what you need to say in a tech interview or a data science interview, regardless of other things. But what makes you stand out, I feel, is your soft skills and how you speak, how you present yourself, your confidence, and all your other experiences that you've had in college are also usually asked about in these kind of interviews. They ask you, what are these clubs that you've done? Have you been the head of any club? Do you like positions of responsibility? Things like that. So it's very important to build those experiences when you're in college. So I would say that definitely try to join the clubs that you're interested in. Everybody is starting, almost everyone in college is starting from a point zero when they go for these clubs. Like it's not like someone who's joining a consulting club has done consulting before, right? Because we're all freshers. So I think putting yourself out there without thinking too much about like the consequences or how embarrassing it'll be if you don't get in and all that. It's important to sign up for these clubs. And another thing that I had in my college, and I think all colleges have this, you have like a fest or a tech fest, a cultural fest for your college, right? So I think it's a really good experience to sign up for those teams which organize those fests because you get to work with a lot of people and you develop a lot of soft skills because most of these is just like organizing stuff and talking to different people and making the event happen even if it's a small portion of it, right? So I was a part of Festember, which was NIT's cultural fest, and in that, yeah, I was in the media relations team. So that was a very different experience where I had to call up like media managers of different media companies like Spotify, Movies Now, things like that. And you call them and you pitch to them that this is the college fest that I'm doing. Can you help me to get your advertisements on this fest and things like that? So that is something very new that you would not really do in any other context, right? And you are forced to speak to so many random people and you have to stay in touch with them and make sure they do these things that you've spoken about. You have to sign contracts with them and all. It's very fancy. So, like these kind of team experiences also build your profile and your skills a lot, I would say. So, I think focusing on academics to some extent, but making sure that you put yourself out there for these clubs and also trying to get into these teams which organize events. I think these three sports, of course, if you are interested in, I would put that under clubs, but sports also is a good thing to go into. And I think college is like the perfect place to do all these things because a lot of people wouldn't have been able to do them in school because maybe they were focusing on studies or like maybe their school didn't offer these kind of opportunities. But when you're in college, I think because so many people are starting at like level zero, it's a great place to go and try out all these things and try to learn them as much as possible. Like I went for so many new sports in college because there were no people who played it. Like our school had a really strong basketball team, right? So I never got to play basketball in school. But in my college, nobody knew how to play basketball. So they took me because I was tall and they were like, please play for department sports. But things like this, I think, just make sure to make time for other things also than studying and chilling. Like you're gonna chill a lot in college because especially if you're in hostel, it's your first time away from home, and you can like do whatever you want suddenly. So I think a lot of people end up just like lazing and hanging out and all that, which is also very important. I also did all of that. But I think it's important to manage your time between these three, four things is what I would give as advice to someone starting college.
Yeah, that's really nice. One more thing I want to talk about is uh, now that AI is doing really well, AI can do everything around, and you are working as a consultant. Do you think any given day, probably 20 years down the line, 10 years down the line, I don't know. Looking at the pace, I don't know how far we are, but any given day, even it can be even tomorrow, AI can replace this firm, and traditional consultants would be kicked out, and AI would do that job.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I'm also scared about because, like, at this point, it can do so many things. I think Gen AI started off as like it's going to be a tool which will help you to be more productive, but it's come to a point where it is already replacing a lot of jobs, I would say. And it's reducing the scope of what you need to do a lot already in most jobs, including mine. I think earlier, we had to type out every single sentence that we want to say, and there would be multiple iterations of people thinking on how can we reframe this in a better way and bring out the message and stuff. But now, like AI can do a lot of that for us, right? Like at least the first level of information that you want, you put it on AI, and it gives you a very sound output already, and you just need to rework it a little bit. So it is scary that it has already started replacing a lot of the stuff that we do. I think that, I mean, I saw a news article which said that I think the founder of OpenAI or someone, he said that there will be a fully AI run multi billion dollar company by 2030. That's his prediction, 2030 or 2035. So, I mean, I think if he says that, it is possible. Um, I can't comment on whether it will replace an entire firm, but I think to a large extent, it is already reducing the scope of what companies are doing, both in consulting, in software, in product management, pretty sure finance, arts. Like these are all the fields where it's already impacting the jobs to a large extent. So yeah, I think it is a little concerning, but hopefully, I feel we are all still in the stage of figuring out how this fits in our lives in terms of jobs. But hopefully, we come to a point where there's more legislation around it and more of thought put into how can we make sure this doesn't replace us but actually does just enhance what we do and make more time for other things that we can do. That's what everybody is saying right now, but I think that no one is focusing too much on that part of it, because we're more focused on investing on AI and making it better and making it do more cool things. But yeah, maybe once we reach a saturation point on that, people will start thinking about how to make sure it doesn't impact regular life too much. But I mean, we can only hope. We never know what will end up happening.
Yeah, so do you use AI in your workplace, AI tools to enhance your job?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We do. And I think these days, most companies, we also have an internal Gen AI which we use. And every company, as far as I know, has started incorporating Gen AI to some extent. And most companies do encourage the employees to use it because it does improve your productivity, right? You can like give outputs faster and you can move on to the next thing. So, yeah, I would say that most employees these days are using Gen AI in some form or the other.
Hmm. So how is it like at McKinsey? How's the work culture? How's the place? Do you really like it?
I think the people are really good. The work culture is good. I would say it's not toxic like what you hear about other companies. People are kind of respectful of when they talk to you. So I think that is good. I really like my working team, the office that I go to. I have like a good set of friends there, and it's all fun and supportive in my team. I think the work hours are long. Like consulting itself has a tag that you will be working long hours. That's a given, but that is there. But I think that when you're doing work that is satisfying to you, you don't feel the hours that much. It is still bad. Like I don't think we should be working like 14 hours average and stuff. But it's not. I would rather be doing some good work than like not be doing anything, I guess. So I would say that it's good. And yeah, I think McKinsey is worth the hype that people give it in terms of as an organization and the kind of work that you get to do. And yeah, I think it's a really good first job for me to get into. So I'm happy with how it's going.
That was really nice. And thank you so much. You gave your valuable inputs. You spoke about trying out different things. That was a key emphasis today. I mean, that's something a lot of people should do. And those who are in college, for those who are listening to this podcast, probably, if you're out there, just go out, sign up for a lot of clubs, try out different things. Probably be multi-talented like Arjita. That's one thing I saw in school. But yeah, thanks a lot for being there. Thank you for being my guest, Arjita. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.